All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
So I was watching the chat this morning before the show, like I typically do, about a half hour before the show, sometimes an hour. I drop in there, like to see what the Bongino Army's talking about out there. And I saw shout out C. Patrick 1010. He said, listen, I do my 100 air squats, I do 10 squats, 10 air squats 10 times a day. I think it's the greatest thing ever. I think it's better than the 10,000 steps. He's like, man, I did it. It works. It clears your head. I told you. As long as you don't have bad knees or bad hips. I got a bad knee. I still try to get them in. But, man, that 100 air squats, and you just do it before. Yeah, it looks weird. Air squats, whatever. Who cares? It's a game changer. Clears your head. I got the whole team doing it now. It's good for you, good for the business, good for everyone. Keeps everybody healthy, happy, blood flowing, heart pumping, brain clear, arteries, veins looking good. And you get big leg muscles too. Can't beat that. And I got a loaded show for you today. 3 critical things in the beginning. 3 critical things. First, listen, I've already told you that a large swath of the media, not all, and a large swath of the Democrat Party, again, not all, ladies and gentlemen, really hate this place, would rather see you die, and some of them appear to be cheering on, are almost overtly cheering on the Iranian mullahs and are itching for them to declare victory. I'm not kidding. Even the relatively mainstream center-right Wall Street Journal has noticed this. That it's like we're 5 days in, you see media people like cheering for the mullahs. Just survive, mullahs. That way you can declare victory against Trump. There it is. I'll address it in a second. Second, folks, even some members of the old school establishment GOP, it's kind of weird that it took foreign hostilities for them to come around. Even some wings, and there's tons of them. You go on X, you'll see them. The old establishment GOP types. I'm not saying it's disparagingly, but like the National Review types and those types are starting to come around that, you know what, maybe we just judge Trump too harshly on appearances and not results. Guy, you've been here the longest. How long have I been saying judge the results? As far as yes. Even the old schoolers are like, maybe we should start judging results instead of outward appearances and that kind of stuff. Thank you. Third, ladies and gentlemen, as I titled today's show, the future of warfare is here. Good for us because we're a tech leader around the world, but the enemies are watching. Our enemies are watching too. And the future of warfare is the now of warfare. Things we thought we would only see in Terminator movies are here right now. We're going to go into that a little bit, and we're going to talk in detail about what exactly that means. A big show for you today. Don't go anywhere. Again, give us a follow, rumble.com/Bongino. Download the Rumble app. We really appreciate everything. Spread the word. The show goes live today, as you can see, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Losing weight is an absolute pain in the figure out the rest. I've been there. I showed my wife a picture the other day when I was about 235 pounds. She's like, you don't look that bad. I didn't think so. I didn't look good at all. I felt terrible. My knees were killing me. You look in the mirror, you see those areas, you got a little doughy around the waist. It sucks, but it doesn't have to be that way. I lost about 30 pounds, a little more actually, by taking Lean. Here it is right here from my buddies at Brick House. Love the product, Lean, Lean. Brick House, a great company, been with me a really long time. I feel incredible. The doctors over there created Lean as a supplement, not an expensive prescription, and it works like most GLP-1s. Weight loss injections work by helping control blood sugar and curbing your appetite. So you eat less. There's really not a mystery to this. You eat less, you're going to wind up losing weight. That's what Lean was created to do. Paula loves it. It replicates the benefits of those weight loss injections without the needles. Lean, I tried it. I can vouch for it. You can see the pictures yourself. Not fudging the numbers. Lean supports healthy blood sugar, helps reduce spikes and crashes that drive snacking and cravings, but Lean goes a step further. It helps your body turn that fat into energy instead of storing it. That's what you need. No prescriptions, no needles. If you've been thinking about losing weight, let's go. Try it today. BrickHouseNutrition.com/Dan. Use promo code Dan to get 20% off. 20%. BrickhouseNutrition.com/Dan. Use promo code Dan. Check out Lean. Really good. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. The product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, and is not a substitute or alternative for care from a healthcare provider. All right, fellas, let's go. So, as I told you, 3 critical things right from the jump. Get right to it. No screwing around. Number 1, why do liberal media people and Democrats have to show their ass all the time? I promise you, outside of the Jasmine Crockett wing in your party that just lost in Texas, ironically, to an even more liberal lunatic, this Tallarico guy who just pretends better. However, outside of appealing to them, nobody in America of sound mind, body, using logic and reason wants to see America lose to the Iranian mullah class. I read this in the Wall Street Journal last night. I was like, man, they nailed it with this one. Again, we're not even a week into this thing, and you've got liberal media folks, and not all the Democrats, really. I don't vote Democrat ever. I've been fairly honest about that. I'm not going to bullshit you. However, I do speak the truth, and I try to be objective about it. You know, Fetterman's been okay on it. Not great, but okay on the issue. The Democrat senator from Pennsylvania. So it's not all the Democrats. However, a overwhelming supermajority of Democrats and their liberal media ass kissers appear to be wanting the United States to win. Journal has a great piece about this. We kind of teased it a little bit here. How the war pessimists are already at it. He says, the editorial board writes, rarely have so many seemed so eager to predict American defeat. Folks, you know, they write in, there's a really touching story in the piece. I probably should have put it up, but I didn't want to dig too far into the details. But think about it. I have a grandfather who fought in the Battle of the Bulge. World War II has since passed. I have an uncle, Greg Ambrose, who was killed in Vietnam. I've told the story often. Was given a Bronze Star with a V cluster for... He was shot in the back while he was saving his friend's life. You can read the story on this website, the Vietnam Wall website yourself. We've been through a lot, the United States of America. World War II, you know, we had thousands of casualties on specific battle days and battle weeks that the American people, you want to talk about a really tough, tragic pill to have to swallow. And yet, now you've got the American media, the liberal media, every single time something doesn't go absolutely perfectly, trying to score cheap political bullshit points on the president by almost, you know, wishing along an Iranian mullah victory. I saw it this morning. Here's the Democrats' line. Watch. Remember this, guys. We're, 9 minutes into the show? Remember this now. Record this on your screen cap it. No matter who survives in the Iranian mullah leadership, even if they decapitate, destroy leadership levels 1 through 10, and you're down to, I mean this hyperbolically, but you get the point, to put an accent on it. If they're down to the janitor in whatever mullah school they use to learn how to hate America and chant death to America, whatever school they go to, if they're down to the janitor, the guy who cleans the bathrooms, I promise you, liberal Democrats and their media allies will declare victory. For us? No, not for us. For the freaking Iranian mullahs. Flag it. Thank you, guys. I haven't done that. Flag it. Flags in the chat. Flag it now. I see it. Flags rocking in the chat. It doesn't matter. If Mullah Joey Bag of Donuts survives, who is the second cousin 4 times removed from the uncle whose brother Tony had a dog that once gave birth to another dog that lived in the home of the mother-in-law of the cousin of the second mullah, they'll be like, they won! They won! Are you guys flagging this shit? Flag this. I'm telling you, mark it right now. We can wipe out their Navy, their Air Force, their air defenses, drone supplies, ballistic missiles, nuclear weapons capability. What's that? Flag? We haven't used that in a while. Hit myself with that. Thank you. Incoming flag. It doesn't matter. I promise you, the Democrats and the liberal media will declare victory for Joey Bag of Donuts, the mullah, 47 times removed from the second cousin of the third mullah 17 years ago. There will. Flags everywhere in the chat. Chat is rocking already. We're only 10 minutes into the show. It's already getting hot in here. The air conditioner broke outside. Guy's like, you can't open the doors. You can't close the doors. Keep the AC, and it reverbs too much. Okay, so number one, back on target. No matter what happens, the liberal Democrats, I promise you, will declare victory for the Iranian mullah class because they want to see a propaganda victory for the enemies of the United States. All flagged, good to go. Point number two, again, I said it before. I'll make it kind of quick, but really important at the beginning of the show. 3 critical takeaways. Boom, right out of the chute here. Establishment GOP folks. I really hate Republican on Republican political party violence. I've said that a million times because the real enemy is the Democrats. However, sometimes it's necessary. Establishment GOP folks from the past, no ill will. I mean, I don't really consider myself one, but I don't consider them. I mean, I cite the Wall Street Journal all the time. There's no bigger establishment outlet than them. Are now starting to come around that the Dan Bongino transactional Trump theory is how you should evaluate Trump. I'm not telling you words are irrelevant, true social posts are irrelevant. I'm not telling you any of that. But I'm telling you, if you're going to evaluate an entire body of work about the Trump presidency, how you should triage that and what should you go into the final grade. The final grade on the final exam should be like 50% of it. And Donald Trump's final grade, i.e. the results you produce for a semester of work, should be about 50% of your calculus about how successful or unsuccessful you think his presidency was. Even establishment GOP folks are starting to come around. I saw one of them this morning on Twitter. Like, hey, man, maybe I went sideways on this guy and should have kind of judged him on results instead. Okay, I've been saying that the entire time. I come from New York. I grew up in New York in Queens. Donald Trump is a Queens guy. Everyone from Queens, New York is like that. They're not the Brooklyn kids who always have like this tough aura around them. Oh, they come from Brooklyn. Don't fight that guy. It's like Brooklyn imbues you with like Avengers, like superpowers. The Manhattan kids all were rich. They're like, wow, man, I want to hang out with that guy. He's a rich guy, lives in Manhattan. Even if you lived in like the worst part of it, everybody assumed you had money. The Queens kids got the worst of both worlds. Nobody thought you were tough because you weren't from Brooklyn. And even though Queens was a middle-class suburb, nobody thought you had any money because you were from Queens and not Manhattan. So everybody from Queens has an attitude. That's Trump. That's why none of that bothers me at all. But Queens kids get shit done. There's a lot of very famous Queens people. A lot of very famous Queens people. You know, in the media, politics, and the business world. Trump being the most famous. So number one, liberal media Dems are already cheering on a mullah victory. Joey Bag of Donuts, 17th mullah, 42 times removed. Guaranteed. It's already been flagged. Number two, establishment folks coming around. It's good to see. Welcome. I'm not mad at them. I'm about scoring points, not taking them away. No, they weren't with us the whole time. So no, I'm not doing that. If they want to come and in midterm show up and vote for, a Trump agenda, good, vote. We can turn them down. No, don't vote for us. Vote for the Democrats. I'm not doing that. No way. I'm a spreadsheets guy. All I care about is what wins net present value +1. That's it. I don't give a shit about moral victories. Third, ladies and gentlemen, it's Axios piece. The future of warfare, man, is here right now. The last year was an eye-opening experience. I had been out of the federal government, law enforcement, intel, protection space for a long time. It was a decade. Going back in, I was shocked seeing it from the other side, how far advanced both, not just ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance technology, but how law enforcement technology, signals interception, human SIGINT, how far along this had developed. It was like a crash course on all of it, and I couldn't believe it. The future of warfare, because a lot of these tools have civilian uses too. The future of warfare is here now. Put up that Axios piece if you would, guys. It is here right now. America's new war machine showcased in Iran war. Colin Demaris. Axios, pretty left-leaning outlet, but it's a really good piece. It talks about some critical developments we're now seeing in theater. It's one thing to say, hey, the United States, listen, we've got this great drone infrastructure, and we've got these new missile targeting machines and AI integrated weapons. Folks, if they don't work in combat, as China's learning right now, nobody gives a shit. It's useless. It's a piece of tin. Here is a friend of mine, Carl Higby. He works over at Newsmax, a great guy, warrior himself, military experience out the wazoo. Good guy, good friend. Here he was on Newsmax last night, or midnight before, either one. But he's talking about the U.S. military's technological advantage, how the technological advantage, as China's finding out, doesn't matter unless you can showcase it in theater, in action, where the variables sometimes are unpredictable, and how the effect of this is going to last years, maybe even decades, as warfighters and technology gets invaluable battlefield experience. Folks, you cannot replicate in a training exercise. Just quick, before you play this, guys. Were any of you guys in the military at all? I didn't ask you, Randy. No? Okay. I wasn't. I was in the military. But having been in law enforcement as a law enforcement instructor in our academy, people would bring equipment all the time. And then you go out and you do what's called AOPs, assault on principle exercises, where we would go out in the Secret Service, right? And we would say, hey, you pretend to be President Bush or whatever, and there's going to be an assault and we're all going to do our thing or whatever. It's never the same as real gunfire. Obviously, they're shooting blanks. They're not shooting real weapons. When people are shooting blanks, you act different than if real, 7.62 rounds are whizzing by your head. There is nothing like theater for, I can't replicate the war experience. I was not in the military. I can only tell you from the law enforcement side. You got to test things live time. Here's Higby on exactly this. It's a great piece. Check this out.
Now, the combat testing alone in this conflict and the immediate battlefield feedback we're getting from this campaign, it's worth the entire budget of the Pentagon. The aerial experience from this operation sets us like light years ahead of any other country's military. An experience saves lives in the future. And this experience is financially cheaper than most training scenarios, by the way.
Folks, I'm going to give you an example. Great piece by Higby. He is totally, completely, 100% correct. A warfighter himself. And I'm giving you my experience. It is like this compared to Marine infantry, special forces, Delta SEALs, pararescue, these guys. This is just a tiny little example. When you go through federal agent training in FLETC and elsewhere, sometimes they'll start your training in these exercises, where the AOPs or whatever, with blanks. Blanks are bang, oh, I'm dead, oh, let me pretend I'm dead. And then you graduate. Now, folks in the chat, have you ever used simunitions? Simunitions are not blanks. They're real rounds, but they're plastic and they're filled with like a soapy substance, but they hurt like a... They especially hurt in the winter when the plastic gets really hard. Who in the chat's dealt with Sims? Yes. Daisy, W19, yeah. They hurt like hell. They're not real bullets. They're not going to get you dead, but all of a sudden when you were training with blanks, you start figuring out a way to get your ass behind cover and concealment, not always the same thing. You'll fit your ass behind a fire hydrant when someone's lighting you up with Sims and your fingers are purple from getting blasted on a cold day with simunitions. Now, graduate that times 1,000 to warfighters who forget about Sims and getting your fingers. Look at the chat. You know what I'm talking about. You take a Sim on a cold winter day, man, sometimes you're like, I wish that wasn't, but I got to get out of here. Shit hurts. That's nothing compared to what warfighters go through. You got pilots flying sorties right now where this isn't some Maverick Top Gun exercise. Viper's dead. No, you're really dead. Like Viper's really dead. This is the real thing. This is invaluable experience for both our technology and, more importantly, for warfighters who are now getting bodies and bodies of flight hours, hundreds and hundreds of flight hours in theater. Now, let's go through some nuts and bolts about the future of warfare. I'm going to be circumspect in my language for obvious reasons, but there are things that are obviously shareable. You're seeing it now. First, the future of warfare is going to be highly technical, okay? Target selection is going to be, and is happening right now, on a level using enhanced computing, artificial intelligence. Target selection has just gone from 1 to 10,000 almost overnight. What do I mean by that? Target selection in the past, you had basic satellite imagery. You had some reconnaissance you may have done in the past. You had some surveillance footage. You basically had some basic photography. If you had some on-ground assets, that kind of thing. But these were just like physical pictures and things you would look at and say, well, what does that look like? Does that look like a silo? Does that look like a warehouse? Is it a munitions factory or a paint factory? Folks, target selection now, I got a ton of material on this, is going to be totally different. You're talking about, in conjunction with traditional data aggregators who can pull in all this information, like the Palantir type companies and others, integrating that with imagery, thermal imagery, energy analysis, satellite imagery, terrestrial ground photography, space-based imagery, again, energy signatures, facial ID, facial recognition. I'm not even done. Combine all that into a sophisticated AI program with open source information from wearables. You know how many people, even we do it, and it's a mistake. We had in the 7th floor of the FBI headquarters, you got to take all the wearables off outside. You're not allowed in with them. Apple Watches, I'm talking about wearables, Aura Rings. Folks, you don't think a lot of that stuff can be integrated into ubiquitous technical surveillance? Combine it with that, cellular phone tracking, pattern of life analysis, money flow movements, and you have target selection so precise, there's no way to hide. You're not relying on a picture anymore going, is that mullah Joey Bag of Donuts 17 times removed from the 42nd mullah? You're not doing that anymore. You're actually tracking live time these people through pattern of life, money analysis, thermal analysis, all of it. Ubiquitous technical surveillance is everywhere. The United States is the big dog, folks. We are the kings of the hill. China's trying to catch up, but China, listen, pardon the language, just shit the bed. China built this entire military infrastructure with partners, with the Iranians and in other places, in conjunction with the Russians, air defense systems, weaponry, and it completely, totally failed. Do you think global consumers of military equipment are watching what's happening in the Middle East right now and saying, gee, I want to partner with China? They just got humiliated. While the United States basically took out 2,000 plus critical interest targets and the entire Iranian mullah leadership in effectively less than a week. Those are just facts for the liberal media that want us to lose. Now, combine that with drone technology. We basically took the Shahed, the Iranian drone, turned it around, re-engineered it, and flew it right back their way. We were working on Cash and I put together the first drone school for the FBI for state, local, territorial, and tribal to train them on drone interdiction. It's in Redstone, Alabama. We're very proud of that. That was a big interest of mine early on because of the dangerous threat drones present because humans can't fly. It creates an asymmetric financial problem using $1 million missile to take down a $100 drone. But they're hard to interdict. It's not easy. And the technological advancement in the drone technology goes quick. The life cycle can be a month before they invent a new way to get around it. When I was working on this problem, a couple of my interagency partners used to say to me all the time, when I'd say, hey, what do you think of, a red kind of open source about a company working on this? What do you think? They would say this all the time. Unless they try it out in Ukraine, I don't want to hear about it. Because there are too many variables in a war theater you can't show in a practice scenario. Every drone company goes down to like an open field and goes, look, watch what we just did. Great, I'm not telling you your company's no good. I'm just telling you, is that going to work with sophisticated Russian interception mechanisms, cell phones, geo towers, all that? Is that going to work there? They would tell them, go practice and try it in Ukraine. If it doesn't work in Ukraine, forget it. That's all happening now. It's all happening now. Folks, they are not safe. The enemy has nowhere to go. China's war technology totally collapsed. The United States, over the course of less than a week, has demonstrated our technical superiority and our bravery by our soldiers just kicking ass and cleaning up. I want to show you this. Put that VO, that hangar. Look at this. They think they're safe in hangars. Loop this a second. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, we love having you here on audio. However, just go to Rumble, 27 minutes in. Look at this. I'm going to voice over the VO, and he's voice over the video. There's no sound to it. This is unclassified video released. We're not obviously releasing any classified stuff. This is what I think CENTCOM put this out. That's a hangar. They cover these aircraft and drones and hangars thinking, oh, we're okay. You're not. You're not even safe there. That's the first thing I picked out about this. Look at the precision targeting. Nobody else can do this, ladies and gentlemen, but us. Now, when you combine the bravery of our military fighting men and women, our pilots, our special forces folks, our ISR specialists, and you combine it with the intelligence community, law enforcement capabilities in the United States, we have no co-equal. When you combine all of that with another bucket or silo of regime decapitation, the Iranians have nowhere to go. I mentioned this yesterday. The C's, right? Command, control, and communication. Folks, if you are a regime, if you are the mob, it doesn't matter. Any organization, IBM, the mob, the Iranian regime, I'm not comparing three, I'm saying any organization. If you don't have command, control, and effective communication, you don't have an organization. You have a loosely knit group of uncoordinated people who are all going to do their own thing. Wall Street Journal piece pointed this out yesterday, how the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, efforts at decapitation, where we're now down to Joey Bag of Donuts, the mullah 17 times removed, that nobody even believes that person's in charge right now. They can't even effectively put that up. Wall Street Journal. Are you guys okay in there? Okay. Sheesh. If at first you don't succeed, die and die again. This is a great piece by Kevin Cohen. He's talking about these three C's, command, control, and communication. When you wipe out the 10, 15 layers of mullahs, he says the doubt ripples outward. Commanders delay orders until legitimacy is confirmed. Rival factions position themselves cautiously. Security services turn inward, searching for the infiltrators. Decision cycles lengthen. Under pressure, these elongated decision cycles become fragile. The strategy depends on intelligence rather than brute force. Accounts surfaced after the attack that Israeli intelligence had achieved sustained visibility into Tehran's surveillance ecosystem, allowing their analysts to track Iranian leaders' movements. Folks, they have nothing but chaos right now, the Iranians. Nothing. They have no effective command. Having no effective command, they have no effective control. They don't know who the spies are and who aren't. And they can't communicate because every time they beam up a device, boom, you're dead. It's incredible how many black pillars and doomers, who again have another agenda that's not yours, are so eager to claim victory for the Iranians despite a single shred of evidence they're winning anywhere. Here's Trey Yingst from Fox just this morning talking about, again, exactly what I just told you guys. It's about a 30-second clip that they have no way to communicate. How are you going to forcefully repress the country of 90 million people, Iran, without any of the three C's? You can't do it. Check this out.
A senior Israeli official telling Fox News that the Iranian regime is having trouble coordinating and communicating as these strikes intensify against the Iranian capital of Tehran. They're going after what they call the repression mechanism of the regime, the IRGC headquarters, the Basij headquarters, and other locations where officials were commanding the crackdown on protesters earlier this year. It comes as the IDF released a new video today showing an F-35 fighter jet shooting down an Iranian warplane over the skies of Iran, the first dogfight and kill for the Israelis since the 1980s.
Folks, an Israeli advanced Generation 5 fighter jet against like Iranian, effectively like Cessnas in the sky with a .38 pistol. That's not even a fair fight, and it shouldn't be a fair fight. Secretary Hegseth said it right. You're damn right we're going to kick you in the nuts when you're down. That's what winning a war looks like. The Iranians could surrender today. We're going to give up our nuclear weapons program, stop with the death to America stuff. They don't want to. Remember I used to do that with producer Jim. Why don't they give up? Because they don't want to, so they're going to die. I don't take any kind of solace or joy in anyone's death. But if it's us or them, it's them. Why you would mess with the United States military, with the profound technological advantage and experience advantage is beyond me. This is like suicide by cop, except suicide by military. Folks, I'm going to take a quick break. And on the other side, I want to play this video. It just surfaced on the web. I saw it at Eric Daughtry's account on X. I can't verify if it's authentic or not. I'm just going to tell you it's interesting. Even if it's not, the point is still valid. It is a video of Iranians celebrating the bombing of their own city. But there's some takeaways from this besides the obvious. I'll show it to you coming up in a second. Quick break here. Ladies and gentlemen, Blackout Coffee. John from Blackout just sent us a whole new supply of the new Bongino Army blend. You know I love my coffee. Keep it in the cup right here. I love coffee. I can't help it. It's got that. You can take a little whiff of that Bongino Army Blackout. Premium medium roast coffee. I love it. Quick pause here as I want to tell you about something we actually built together with Blackout Coffee. Longtime listeners know I love coffee. My coffee's Blackout Coffee. I don't drink anything else. I like the cold brew. I like the warm. I like the beans. I like the roast. It is amazing. Bongino Army Blend is the best. We made it official with a collaboration roast. It's the Bongino Army Roast, medium dark roasted for bold flavor and a heavy body. Then amped up with a little extra caffeine. I don't know why I need that, but I love it. Strong without being bitter, powerful without compromise. It is the best coffee you're going to have. Bold, but not bitter. No one wants bitter coffee. Terrible. This stuff is fantastic. Let me be clear. I don't put my name on things lightly. I drink this coffee every day. Always have. If you didn't meet my standards, it wouldn't exist, period. Blackout Coffee's American-owned, roasted right here in the USA. No corporate wokeness. They were proud to be American. They were with us on election night. John was with us on election night when Donald Trump won. Remember that, John? Just quality and values that actually align with this audience. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Pick it up today. Get rid of that crap woke coffee you have now that's all bitter. Get the bold coffee without the bitterness. You get 20% off your first order when you use code Bongino. He's like, none of this is actually in the spot. I know. I just make up my own sometimes because I like it. Blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Code Bongino. Check it out today. Bongino Army Blend. It is fantastic. What's that? I did. I already did. Yeah, it smells fantastic. Just took a nice whiff of it. Blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Code Bongino. Check it out. Okay, so before I play this video, this is allegedly a video, just surfaced this morning, so in the intake process, we got to be a little bit careful, but it doesn't seem to be anything that outrageous. This is a video of Iranians celebrating the bombing of their own city. Now, that tells you a couple of things. Number one, how unpopular must the Iranian mullah class be that your city is being bombed and you're cheering them on? Here it is playing on the side here. And then second, what does this say about both the American military and the IDF? No, think about this. Think this through. These Iranian citizens hate their government so much, but are comfortable enough that the patriotic heroes in the American military and the IDF will not deliberately target them as innocent civilians. I want you to think about that second point, folks, because it's not just some incidental throwaway. You don't see this happening in Israel when a ballistic missile lands in Tel Aviv, you don't see Israelis celebrating the bombing of their own city. You see them in shelters because they know the Iranians will target civilians. You guys picking up this point? Is this making sense? Nowhere else on earth are you so comfortable with the American military and the IDF that you're on a balcony while the city's being bombed because you're reasonably confident you won't be targeted and you hate the regime so much you're celebrating your own city. That is not a throwaway point. Digest that one. Intake, input it, process what I'm telling you. For all the America haters out there. And please don't fall for this deliberate op. I hear all these commentators now talking about ops. The ops are mostly coming from the other side. Black pillars, liberal media people, and Democrat strategists trying to fracture the Republican Party over everything. Endorsements, Israel, the Middle East, the economy, tariffs. I see it every day. There's a mutiny going on in the Republican Party, guys. Did you hear? It's from the experts, by the way. They told us it's all falling apart. The MAGA coalition, it's all falling apart, folks. You know who says it? The extremely reliable, and I say that with a heavy dose of sarcasm, possibly the heaviest dose of sarcasm, the Washington Post. There's a mutiny. MAGA is Trump. President fires back at right-wing mutiny over Iran. There is no mutiny, folks. This is all bullshit, doomer, black pillar, liberal media bullshit designed to fracture you before an election to drive down approval ratings and voter enthusiasm so Republicans lose and Donald Trump can get impeached. That is all this is. Put a period at the end of that sentence. Please do not fall for it. There are varying opinions about how long this war should last, if there should be troops on the ground or not. Who should be targeted? What should the goals be? Those are great. I love the fact that this party debates this stuff in our own tent. But don't believe the bullshit that this is some big mutiny. It's like 10 people who are out there ginning up a bunch of bullshit. MAGA Civil War. Yeah, we talked about, thank you, Justin. We just talked about this yesterday. If you want more coverage on this, don't miss yesterday's show. MAGA Civil War with a question mark. Because there's no, thank you. Here's Carol Markowitz, good friend of mine, put out this tweet yesterday. If there's a mutiny in a MAGA Civil War, then how come the numbers don't show it? Do you guys believe in data? You Washington Post people? She's at Carol with a K. The last Fox News poll at 84%. CNN poll had 77% of Republicans in support of the strikes. So where's the mutiny? 4 people on Twitter? She's right. If you're going to declare there's some kind of mutiny and major schism within the party, like we covered at length in yesterday's show, produce the digits, produce the data, produce the numbers. I'd love to see it. And by the way, the liberal media types pushing this bullshit mutiny, MAGA coalition collapsing nonsense, the liberal media types pushing this don't even know anything about combat, the history of war in the United States. They don't know anything. I'm not suggesting you need to be a Naval Academy level PhD in military tactics back to Thermopylae and elsewhere. I'm just saying no basic facts. Did you see this video yesterday? By the way, this is a video of Fetterman and Manu Raju from, I think, CNN. I don't even know. I don't vote Democrat ever. However, Fetterman is right in this exchange. And even Fetterman starts to question himself when he gets corrected by Manu Raju. The last time Congress declared war was World War II. That's a fact. Fetterman states this. And then Manu Raju corrects him, except Manu Raju is not correct. And even Fetterman's like, wait, do I have this wrong? This is why you never listen to the liberal media. They don't even know anything. I told you that I used to travel around with these guys as an agent. When you're new, you're the press agent. They are some of the dumbest people on planet Earth. I'm not kidding. Not all of them, but they're really stupid. Check this out.
Congress asserted its constitutional role and actually voted to declare war the way it did with Iraq.
Well, the last war we've actually declared was World War II.
No, Iraq and Afghanistan. The AUMF.
Okay, Afghanistan. Okay, so for me right now, what is it now? The War Powers Resolution, 60 days, and we're 100 hours into this. Now, what's at this point. Yeah, and then also, I want to say on this, it's like, we can't keep our government open.
Folks, I'm not going to be one of these liberal media types who just lies about people. I would never vote for Fetterman under any circumstances. However, he was right. The last time we declared war was World War II. The authorization for the use of military force was not a declaration of war. It was different. Manu Raju doesn't even know that. Here's what bothers me about it, too. I don't want to pick nits. Everybody in the media space eventually gets something wrong. It happens. You can't know everything about everything all the time. You can't. You're going to get, who's the leader of Kirplakistan? Someone's going to be like, I got to look. It happens all the time. Even the smartest people in the space get dinged on a fact that wasn't on the top of their head. The problem I have with this exchange, and I don't want to pile on Manu Raju. The problem I have with this exchange is if you are doing any reading at all on what's going on right now in Iran, nearly every single significant article about this has mentioned the fact that the last declaration of war was World War II. I've read 100 articles on it. It's impossible to miss. That says to me that Manu Raju and his liberal buddies don't even read. If he wouldn't have known that 6 weeks ago, before the strikes in Iran, okay, whatever. It's probably a tidbit a lot of media people don't know. If you're reading anything about this right now, that has come up. That's what pisses me off about the whole thing. Even Fetterman's like, wait, am I right? Yes, you're right, John. And here's what I'm talking about. Here's the doom. You want to see doomers? Here is one of the worst doomers. This guy's like the king of the doomers. You know Bill Kristol, a guy who changes his mind. He licks his finger every day and changes his mind based on where he thinks the anti-Trump winds are going. This guy, keep this up a second, has totally and completely eviscerated any credibility he may have thought he had left. Here he is on Twitter back in January. Bonchi at Red State points this out. Here's Bill Kristol. He's talking about how the Trump administration should be helping the Iranians overthrow the cruel dictatorship rather than threatening Denmark. But that would require having an administration that supports American interests and principles. Okay, so there's Bill in January. His principles, my principles. You need to go help the Iranians overthrow us. His words right there. It's on the screen. Here's Bill Kristol just the other day. Same guy. Maybe Rubio should stop inventing, quote, imminent threats to justify the war his administration started and get back to doing the job of helping Americans in the war zone they created. I can't with these guys. I can't. Folks, I can't with these guys. Now, that movie about Churchill, the Gary Oldman movie, a pretty good movie. It says at the end, people who never change their mind don't change anything. And that's true. As new inputs come in, you can form and should form new outputs based on reason and logic. There's no reason for you to stick to an old idea when new ideas debunk what the old idea was. Happened to me inside the government. You see things. We won the election. We got to look at things. Your opinions change based on new inputs. Bill Kristol, nothing's changed. This was just January. Help the Iranians. Trump helps the Iranians. What are you doing helping the Iranians? What's the input? The input is exactly what you asked to happen. That's the only input. Nothing changed. The Darkest Hour. There you go. Good movie. I enjoyed it. Bill Kristol is totally full of shit. This is when I'm talking about the doomers. This is the monarch of the doomers. Everything Trump does is bad. He doesn't have the balls or the nutsack to ever come out on Twitter and say, hey, thanks, man. Good job. Maybe tomorrow I'll hit you again for something different. But as of today, thank you, Mr. President. Good job. Other establishment GOPers I've seen are finally coming around. Not this canoe. Now, it's funny how these people want you to believe, like, oh, look at us. We're the ones with the principles. We're the old guard of the GOP. We're protecting timeless principles. You're protecting nothing. Your principles aren't principles because you just changed them when Trump did what you asked him to do on Iran. That's not a principle. That's bullshit. Now I'm going to show you people who have had pretty timeless principles when it comes to foreign interventions. Here is a video of Donald Trump, yes, the president of the United States for the left. Here's President Trump back in 2016. By my math, that's about 10 years ago. Justin's giving me the thumbs up. He's doing the calculations now. 10 years ago. He's probably not the abacus. We haven't used Jay's abacus in a long time. Here's Trump back in 2016 talking about the Iran deal. This is transactional Donald Trump. I can't tell you this enough. He is a Queens guy. If we are going to go to war in Iraq or in Iran or anywhere else, what is in it for the United States? Oh my God, what do you mean what's in it for the exactly what he said. What is in it for us? Here he is in 2016 saying nearly the exact same things he's saying now. But you get my principle. No, he actually has them. You don't. That's what bothers you. Check this out.
Obama is very unhappy with Iran because he feels that they haven't lived up to the spirit of the agreement. What the hell did he think was going to happen? They defaulted on day one. I mean, they were doing things on day one, and everyone was telling him, he said, that can't be possible. That's the way life works. These are vicious people. But the saddest part of that deal is so much of this money is already gone. Just gone. $150 billion right out the tubes. And what do we get? We got nothing. We got nothing. They got the money, and the prisoners should have been released years ago before we started negotiating. Years ago. We got nothing.
You know, I love when you get the clown class on X and elsewhere, too. I'm telling you, the doomers, they can't shut the... Like, oh, man, Dan, you're just, putting a shine on this guy. I'm just playing his own words, dipshits. Those are his words. I didn't give that speech. He's been saying the same thing for 10 freaking years. For longer than that. I played a video from the 80s the other day. The 80s, like after the 70s and before the 90s. And the aughts? Here's another one. You want to talk about principles? Here's Rubio, 11 years ago. By the way, he looks the exact same. What is he, right? Doesn't he? You guys say, we put like Genucell or something? What's he got? What are you using, man? I'm getting old. I'm starting to fall apart. Rubio got some kind of special stuff he's taking or something, NAD or whatever. Mr. Secretary, you know my number. Give me... I need the routine, whatever you're doing, because I ain't aging like that. This looks like it could have been filmed 10 minutes ago. Here's Rubio 11 years ago, making some predictions about what was going to happen if we appease Iran. Every single one of them came true. Again, principles? These guys actually have principles. It's the Bill Kristol Doomer class that doesn't. Check this out.
I do want to be recorded for history's purposes before I know what was going to happen in regards to this if it goes through. Iran will immediately use the money that it's receiving in sanctions relief to begin to build up its conventional capabilities. It will establish the most dominant military power in the region outside of the United States, and it will raise the price of us operating in the region. They're going to build anti-access capabilities, rockets capable of destroying our aircraft carriers and ships, continue to build these swift boats that are able to come on us, these fast boats that are able to swarm our naval assets. And they'll make it harder and harder for U.S. troops to be in the region. They'll also work with other terrorist groups in the region to target American servicemen and women. And they may or may not deny that they're involved, but they will target us and raise the price of our presence in the Middle East until they hope to completely pull us out of that region.
Again, who has the timeless principles? I'm not putting a shine on anything. I'm playing their own words. You judge for yourself. Who was right and who was wrong? Clearly, the Donald Trump, Marco Rubio foreign diplomacy team has been consistent for about 10 years, have given the Iranians a number of shots, whether in 45 or early 47. The Iranians flipped off the double-barrel middle finger, and now everything they said was going to happen happened, and now the Iranians are finding out. Folks, they have been completely consistent about it. Now I want to compare and contrast because foils matter. Diamonds on a black background. Contrasts matter. That same clip of Donald Trump and Rubio showing consistent principles they've used to guide their inputs to make decisions and an output on Iran is completely different than the Democrats who've changed their mind on everything. The Democrats in the Doomer Crystal class. They changed their mind based on how they feel about Trump. That's the only input that matters to them. What makes Trump look bad? Here's Bill Malugin, reporter at Fox, excellent reporter. He's confronting the Democrat House leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Just, by the way, a total buffoon. For as much as I couldn't stand Nancy Pelosi, at least she was a tactician, a wealthy one too, apparently. This guy is just an idiot, which is better for us, by the way. He is. He's a total buffoon. Here he is. He's asked a simple question that he's totally unprepared for. Because like Manu Raju, he's done no homework at all. He's like, hey, you guys keep talking about like declarations of war authorizations. Obama bombed Libya. You guys didn't seem to care about that. Matter of fact, you said it wasn't even necessary. Are you telling me he wasn't prepared for this question? That's exactly what I'm telling you. Because watch his puzzled, stupid response. This is about a minute long, and then you'll hear Pelosi at the end say the exact opposite position than they have now. This is priceless. Talk about no principles. Check this out.
In 2011, Nancy Pelosi said that then President Obama didn't need congressional approval to bomb Libya. Now House Democrats say President Trump needs that approval to bomb Iran. What's the difference?
Well, obviously, Libya and the circumstances connected to that were very different than the circumstance that we face in Iran right now. I mean, I don't even understand the genesis or basis of that question. Not suggesting that you're not asking it in good faith.
Libya went on for 7 months.
As I've indicated, first of all, it was not in Congress at the time. So we're dealing with what we're dealing with right now, which is a catastrophic, endless war, as Donald Trump has characterized it. The administration is not even pretending like they have intelligence or information at this point, publicly. And certainly there's been nothing that has been presented to us privately.
Madam Leader, you're saying that the president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya?
Yes.
Again, I'm just playing their clips. How, Hakeem Jeffries? How, Mr. Jeffries? How were you unprepared for that question? How? At least make up an answer that sounds coherent. You guys sound like idiots. I can't get over like the Bill Kristol Doomer class, how they continuously, they align with these idiots in the liberal media who don't even know the last time we declared war was World War II. One of them hasn't even read an article about it. Hakeem Jeffries is totally unprepared for a basic question about what was going around on social media for days. Here's Nancy Pelosi saying Obama doesn't need authorization. Well, why does Trump? Oh, because he's Trump? That's not a fucking answer, man. That's just you expressing pique and just your distaste for Donald Trump. You look like an idiot. It's amazing how you're constantly critiquing Donald Trump for being too emotional and discursive in his speech style, and yet you idiots actually express your emotions and your stupidity in your own speech and your actions. Rosie Riveter, 00. It's a good one. Endless war, but it hasn't even been a week. Okie dokie. Yes. Rosie Riveter. I like that. Speaking of world wars. Hadn't even been a week. They have no answers. Now, let me take a quick break in a second here. That's my signal, guys. It's like this. It's like the winky night. You're not supposed to say this stuff, by the way. But because this show is like a family, and you guys, I wish you could all be in the studio with me. We don't care. Look, and even put the thing up on the screen. There are risks on both sides here. And this is, okay, serious time. The risk to the Democrats here is very real. If, and this is a big if, because Rosie Riveter 00 is correct. We're only 5 days in. Folks, a lot of really bad things could happen. We need to be clear on that. We don't want to be like dumb liberals and be like Pollyanna-ish either. It's not Trump's fault per se, but there are so many variables in combat. A lot of bad things could happen. I'll go that direction first. And we shouldn't be too utopian in our vision of what the Iranian future is going to look like either. It's been a dystopia forever. And we have to stay open-minded about what the goals are. Ballistic missiles, taking out terror proxies, basically decapitating the Death to America leadership, making sure they don't have a navy where they can shut down the Straits of Hormuz. We have to keep those goals in mind, and once those goals are reached, we have to then back out unless the goals change. but you have to be clear on that. So we, the Republican MAGA camp, the United MAGA camp, not the fake mutiny, we have to be careful to not get out ahead of ourselves either. Rosie's correct. It's only a few days in. However, the Democrats have a real problem too. The Democrats are now on video, digital recording, audio recordings, Twitter, X, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever, elsewhere, YouTube, Rumble. They are now out there basically declaring victory for the Iranians already. If this works out well for us in the end, and there is a new group of Iranian leadership that's not so much friends of the United States, but just aren't enemies. I don't want to call them moderates because there are really no mullah moderates. But say they give up the nuclear program. I mean, imagine if they go the Abraham Accords, that would be just monumental. I'm not even there yet. If we just get a non-death to America chanting crowd in charge, we've completely neutered their ability to attack with ballistic missiles, drones, destroyed their nuclear capability and their Navy's ability to shut down the strait. Then, folks, do you want to be a Democrat running for re-election, talking about what a shitstorm this was going to be when, in fact, it wasn't? There's a lot of headline risk for both sides here. Regardless of what you think about Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, it's a republic. You're allowed to have whatever opinion you like. This took a lot of balls to do. There's a lot of risk for him, and he knows that. You don't think he was told by his military leadership that, hey, a lot of things could break bad here. And he still did it because he didn't want to pass the football down the field to the next president to have to deal with a nuclear Iran. It took a lot of guts. Time's going to tell. We have to be responsible on both sides. But I got to tell you something. I wouldn't want to be a Democrat 5 days in, already declaring this thing over. We lost. I think that's really foolish. Quick break, and I want to show you probably the most important piece of video from, I believe, a retired now, a vice admiral in the Navy on Fox about an issue we are not going to have to deal with in the future. We have to deal with in the now. And the only way to stop this right now acute threat is going to have to destroy the supply chain. There's no way around it. Everyone's life's going to change if we don't get a hold of this problem quickly. Stay tuned. Quick break. My Patriot Supply, folks, if a major disruption happened, listen, you've seen the headlines in the news, okay, between storms and war and all this stuff. You have to be prepared. Reduce your anxiety. Oh, prepper. You're damn right I prepare. What kind of person doesn't want to prepare in case of an emergency? I was just watching a movie last night, one of my favorite movies, The Road with Viggo Mortensen, where like the world ends and he's out there with his kid. They have no food. You don't want to be that person. Don't be Viggo Mortensen in The Road. You have to go find a store if there's an emergency. What if there's you want to be on bread lines? No, you want to have a food supply ready to go. I hope you never need it, but if you do, what are you going to tell the kids? There's no food. Why? I don't know. I didn't think of it. Well, think of it. It's really important. Folks, you got to have food that'll last. Check out my friends at My Patriot Supply. I buy this stuff. I don't ask them for freebies. I buy the stuff myself. They know it. Pull up my records, My Patriot Supply. They're America's #1 preparedness company with over 3 million satisfied customers. And right now, when you go to preparewithdan.com, their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply comes with an additional week of food for free. It's the best long-term storable food you can find. I use them. I've been buying their products for years. You're getting at least 2,000 calories a day for survival, real meals made with real ingredients, no artificial flavors or colors, and shelf lives measured in decades. Decades. It's a lot of security there. Look, we all need to have some food stored for emergencies. You have to. It's a crazy world. Why not get it from My Patriot Supply, the most trusted source in the business, and get a free week of food while you're at it? I've been using this company for years. Buy some peace of mind. Get yourself an emergency food supply today. It's a smart thing to do. Go to preparewithdan.com and get your free week of emergency food today. Do it today. Go to preparewithdan.com. Preparewithdan.com. Check the company out. Can't say strongly enough. Be prepared, folks. Okay, so this video is super important. The Road, there you go. You guys are like movie posters today. Like that, you ever want to have like the... thank you. You ever want to have the scared out of you what the end of the world would look like? That's probably the most realistic version. Have you ever seen The Road, folks, in the chat? Anyone? Well, who says one of my favorite? They were Haunted House 5. Also puts 3 Mutleys in there, too. One of my favorite movies. If you have not seen this movie, Bongino Army Homework Assignment. I am not a producer. I make no money off this movie at all. This movie will scare the hell out of you. You'll go to Patriot Supply and buy out their whole warehouse after this one. You'll get ammo, too. Poor guy has 1 bullet left. He didn't know how to protect his kid. Amazing movie. Me and Paula watched it last night for probably the 100th time. Now, speaking of risks, one of the, if not the most pressing global security risk right this second is drone warfare. Dan, drones. Yes, drones. I'm telling you, when you're sitting there where I was for the last year and reading this stuff, you're like, but this is not good. Folks, this is coming here. It is only a matter of time, and your whole life is going to change. I'm going to tell you 2 things are going to happen. After the first drone strike happens here, everyone's going to walk out of their house every day and do what? They're going to look up. And second, every time someone hears a buzz in the sky, there's going to be panic. This is a now problem, not in the future. And the only way to effectively stop this is to go to the Death to America crowd and people that hate us and interrupt and, if we can, destroy their supply chain mechanism to send these drones to the United States. Here's Vice Admiral Harwood on Fox talking about exactly this. This encompassed probably 10%, if not more, of my meetings while I was at the FBI, is taking care of this drone problem. Check this out.
This is a real turning point in the war on drones. As we saw in Afghanistan and Iraq, we used drones for ISR. In Ukraine, the Ukrainians started making them kinetic, and now we're seeing mass, swarms. And so that's a real differentiator. And I got to believe we're going after the production facilities to ensure we shut down all these elements of power. And I believe if we're not there already, we may be at the tipping point of really shutting down their ability to project power. And when that occurs, a lot of capacity and focus will go on removing the current regime.
Folks, I'm telling you, just about every meeting I had with foreign partners and elsewhere, the first thing that came up was drones. Meeting about Olympic security, drones. Meeting about the Super Bowl, drones. Meeting about what's going on overseas in Europe, drones. Meeting about Ukraine, drones. Everything is drones because they're cheap, they're effective, and they scare the shit out of people because you can't fly and stop. Go see what it is. What is that, a bird or a drone? I don't know. A Mylar balloon, if you were here for the pre-show. I'm glad we don't record that stuff. The pre-show was fascinating. The pre-show was amazing. Justin loved it. The Mylar balloons, Dan Bongino Mylar balloon theory. It's true. Did you guys see this British TV host talking about global threats and what happens overseas? Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I spent a little bit of time, not a lot, in London, and I got to tell you, they were incredibly hospitable. Everyone there, from the bars to the restaurants, we got some tours. It was amazing. I went there on a vacation a couple years ago. I had a blast. Big Ben, London Bridge, all this. You see all the sights. Amazing, amazing. However, I don't think we can deny that the Keir Starmer current government has not exactly been super supportive of our efforts to destroy the Mullah class in Iran. They've not been supported pretty much at all. This British TV host, did you see this viral clip? It's about 2 minutes. I'm only playing about a minute of it. Just absolutely unloading on the Starmer government with the letting the unfettered immigration, the mobs in the city just take over. There's rape gangs. They've just destroyed this beautiful place. This lady just rips this guy a new one. This is incredible. Check this out.
Our amazing armed forces deserve all the credibility. They deserve good resources. They deserve to have our full support. They deserve to be protected, for crying out loud. We were exposed out there. We knew that there was going to be war in that region, and we have left them undefended. And now France and Greece are having to run to our rescue. Do you know what? I've got a message, not just for this Prime Minister, but But all of you, for the past 20 years, you have been self-indulgent, you have been naive, your policy principles have had totally the wrong priorities. It's been about keeping your seats, gaining your seats, pandering to communities who will never vote for you, who do not have our interests at heart. You didn't stop those pro-Palestine marches. You didn't prescribe the Muslim Brotherhood. You didn't prescribe the IRGC. You were weak in support of Israel. You have sabotaged our self-sufficiency when it comes to energy production, concreting those oil wells, banning exploratory drilling in the North Sea. What on earth do you think you're doing? You're domestic terrorists. You're sabotaging this nation. You're compromising food security by attacking the farmers. Well, guess what? When international maritime shipping routes close down, food can no longer reach our island. Everything that this government and, quite frankly, previous governments have been doing for far too long now has been pathetic. It's been weak-willed. It has had its eye off the ball. It has been narcissistic. It's been about looking good in public. And at the same time, you have put Britain in a desperately precarious situation.
Bump McGroin in the chat. She's going to end up in prison. She very well might with the DSA and all those UK anti-free speech laws. You're not wrong. There are some components of that Labour Party that look more like Soviets. I'm actually afraid to go back a little bit there. That's the way it's done, man. Listen, everybody's out surrounded by water. We're all surrounded by water. The United States is surrounded by water. But the UK really is surrounded by water. Donald Trump has done all the wet work of cleaning up global shipping lanes in essentially 5 days. The Iranians have been threatening to shut down global shipping lanes over water for 50 years now. And in 5 days, he's made substantial improvements to their ability to stop petrochemicals, food supplies, and other things from traversing water and getting to the UK. Good for you, madam. Well done. I don't know who you are, but you're welcome on the show, too. Good job. I got some good news for you, especially for the doomer class, Bill Kristol and others. Liberal media is going to have to bite this one. Major Supreme Court ruling on asylum. Now, if you come here and say, I'm an asylee, I'm claiming political asylum, I was being targeted in my country. For what? I don't know. I'm just making it up. Well, Supreme Court's now ruled that they are going to have to defer to immigration officials. The Supreme Court unanimously ruled that federal courts must defer to immigration agencies when deciding whether facts qualify as persecution in asylum cases. Big win you probably didn't hear about because the doomer class, again, wants you to believe all the time, nothing happening. This is the word. Donald Trump, terrible. It's incredible. Homicide rate lowest, crime rate lowest, borders shut down, economy moving along, Iranian mullahs dead. Talk about expanding the Abraham Accords, inflation relatively tamed, even despite global hostilities now over the straits and elsewhere. Gas prices, not great, but not nearly where they could have been if there was another incompetent person in charge. Thank God we've got a competent president. He had Chris Wright out there, the energy secretary, trying to quell some of the markets, using a backstop for insurance. They know what they're doing. This happened yesterday, too, up on the Hill. Did you see this exchange? Speaking of illegals, why do the Democrats, I know you guys want to cheat in elections. Hello, Captain Obvious. Anyone in the chat have any doubts? Anyone have any doubts that the Democrats want to cheat in elections? If you do, I'm sorry, you're on the wrong show. The 70,000 people here, this is the wrong show. You got to watch another show. If you have any doubt, Democrats want to cheat in elections, this is the wrong chat room. You got to find one of his morning zoo shows or something. Of course they want to cheat. That's why they hate the SAVE Act. But there was one particular component of this that I find fascinating. And now the Democrats outed themselves with DHS Secretary Kristi Noem up on the Hill yesterday. The Democrats don't want any immigration enforcement anywhere near polling locations. Well, no doubt in the chat. Well, why is that? Why is that? Pretty honest, fair question, correct? Check this out.
You rule out the deployment of ICE or CBP to polling places this November.
There are no plans to have ICE officers at our polling locations. And
I'm glad to hear that, but would you rule it out? Would you say it will not happen?
Do you plan on illegal aliens voting in our elections?
Why are they so concerned about this? Why do you care so much? The answer is fairly obvious, as everyone in the chat knows, because they like the cheating. My gosh, can this get any more obvious? Folks, elections matter. We know that. But I'm going to tell you something. I haven't been an activist and a candidate and in the government, out of the government. And like I said, I'm like a nomad. I like to juggle chainsaws. I love the chaos. It's the best part. I don't want to die wishing I didn't do something. Elections matter. That's why we need integrity in our elections and free and fair elections. But I'm going to tell you something you probably don't want to hear, especially if you're a politician. Folks, endorsements don't matter. Except, stand easy. I'll prove it to you. Except, obviously, you know where I'm going with this. Donald Trump's endorsement definitely matters. Anyone telling you otherwise is full of shit. You know what? Put that James Blair tweet up. James Blair works in the White House. Good guy. Donald Trump's endorsements basically slayed the other day. Everyone President Trump endorsed in last night's races, he's talking about Tuesday, either won outright or advanced to a runoff. This is your occasional reminder that your algorithm or favorite influencer may not reflect real life. That's an elbow from the top ropes right there. He's at James Blair USA, and he is correct that Donald Trump's endorsement is definitely a game changer. I'm here to tell you that almost no other endorsement out there matters. Prior to Donald Trump becoming president, honestly, in the chat, no, seriously, tell me in the chat. Have you ever voted for a candidate in the past strictly on an endorsement? Maybe you have. I mean, back in the day, I'm getting old now. Sarah Palin's endorsement had a little bit of whack, but most people don't really vote on endorsements. You'll say you did, but the thing is, I'm not going to be an asshole about it. Most people had a candidate picked out to begin with, and a politician they follow endorses them, and you're like, oh, well, I voted. No, you were going to vote for that person anyway. Trump's endorsement is a little bit different. It is a mover and a shaker. I need you, though. How many people we got in Texas in the chat? Texas, I need you guys to step up. We got a real problem in Texas right now. We have Beto O'Rourke 2.0. There was just a primary for a critical United States Senate race. And by the way, I don't know what Donald Trump's going to do. I see some of you in the chat about Cornyn and Paxton. I don't know. Some of you want an endorsement. Some of you want him to stay out of it. That's up to you in Texas. I'm not a Texas voter. I vote in Florida. However, on the Democrat side, can we all agree that the guy who won the Democrat primary for the United States Senate in Texas is a freaking liberal lunatic, Beto 2.0? Folks, Texas, I need you to step up. Please. Reading the chat, you guys are great. Look at this guy. He's pretending to be like the preacher from, you ever see the movie Footloose? It was just a remake. Yeah, the original's better. Remember the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Just like the 47 degrees of Mullers in the beginning of the show? Kevin Bacon was in that movie Footloose, the Kenny Loggins song. And remember there was the preacher dad, the very, righteous, holier than thou guy. They're running this guy Tallarico, James Tallarico. I grew up with a kid with the last name Tallarico. Actually looks like this guy too. They're running this guy, James Tallarico, and they're look at this guy. He's a Democrat, but he's really like a values biblical guy, and he's going to appeal to Texas Democrats who love religion, faith, and family. Really? This guy is worse than Beto. I can make the case to you, this guy's probably more liberal than Jasmine Crockett. I'm not telling you that. He's telling you that. Here's the first video, this is quick, of James Tallarico. Texas, you elect this guy. I don't know what we're going to do. Here he is on trans abortion? Huh? Check this out.
Before we go further, I want to acknowledge that our trans community needs abortion care too. Defending trans Texans is something we have to do.
What? This is your footloose preacher guy? Oh, we got to really, that trans abortion is a big, it's not a big issue in Texas, really? Texas voters, is anybody in the chat? Anyone? Texas only. You can fake it, I'll never know. But Texas only, the honor system. Does anyone in the chat care about trans abortion issues in Texas? Anyone? Anyone looking? Looking, lurking, looking. No. Okay. I think it's unanimous. That sample size good enough for me. 100-0. You may say, Dan, you're taking him out of context. All right, he slipped up. He's really footloose preacher guy. It was just that one line. Okay, here he is testifying at a committee in Texas where he talks about how there isn't male and female sexes, but there are 6 of them. I thought there were 72. Don't you remember? There were like 72. 6 is down from, I think, the 72 they were at before. Here is James Tallarico, footloose fake preacher guy. Here he is talking about how there are really 6 sexes. James, I would love you to explain that using science and your faith. You're a faith, you're a footloose preacher guy, right? Don't listen to me. Listen to him. Check this out.
Modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6, which honestly, Representative Hefner surprised me too. Surprised me too, because I am not well versed in this issue area. I'm not a scientist. I'm a politician, a lot worse than a scientist.
I love this. Justin just pointed this out. I love this clip. This may be my favorite clip of the day. We have Guy's favorite clip. This is Dan's favorite clip. Because he starts the thing up by saying, obviously, as if it's tautological and axiomatic, like you're an idiot if you even question this. And then he goes on to say how, I'm not really familiar with this material because I'm not a scientist, but I just told you you're a moron if you think otherwise. This is the whole Democrat Party. Morons are 6 sexes. How do you know that? I don't know shit. I'm not a scientist. So why'd you say it? Because I'm a stupid politician running as footloose preacher guy? If this guy gets elected, like that Ossoff scam in Georgia, I got to tell you, I'm going to be really disappointed. My second favorite state in the union is not New York, where I grew up. It is Texas. You ask anyone from Texas where they're from, they all give you the same answer. Justin, right? You ask people in Florida, where you from? They go, Palm City, Stewart, Orlando. You ask people from Texas where they're from, like, Texas. They say it like that, too. Texas. That's true. Justin makes a good point. South Florida. Yes, half of South Florida where they're from, they do say, New York. She's not wrong. Texas, it's universal. Abilene, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, the Permian Basin, it don't matter. Where are you from? Texas. Texas. Badass, you Texans. Badass. You want this guy representing you? How many sexes are there? 6. Do you know that? Obviously. Well, how do you know that? I really don't. I'm a moron. Okay. It's a good answer there, dude. That's your guy. Speaking of elections that matter, the presidential election has already started. No, it hasn't. Yes, it has. Let's not fool each other. Kamala Harris has resurfaced with the cackling. Cesar Romero, the Joker. Kamala has resurfaced, endorses Jasmine Crockett the day before the election, gets smoked, and then endorses 6 sexes guy, Tallarico, after he wins. Harris's endorsement's the kiss of death, by the way. It's like the inverse, the opposite of Trump's endorsement. 2028's already begun. Don't tell me, we're not ready for it. You better be, because it started. Newsom and Harris are already de facto candidates. Forget Harris for a second. I saw this gem the other day creep up. I was going to put it in yesterday's show, but I ran out of time. Did you see this tweet by Gavin Newsom about homelessness? He's laughing because the Wall Street Journal piece, it's been sitting out there for like 5 or 6 days. I know. It's like an inside joke. Put up the Newsom tweet first. Here's Gavin Newsom. Here he is just recently, March 2nd, 2026. You can see the timestamp on the tweet, at California Governor, CA Governor. Join me for an announcement on homelessness and mental health across California. Newsom 2028. Folks, he's going to solve homelessness. Again. What do you mean, Dan, again? Hat tip, what is this guy, Kevin Dalton, on this video? This is the greatest thing you're going to see on the show today. Scrap the Tariff. This is Dan's favorite video. I'm sorry, we're super sad. I didn't know if I was going to get to this. This is my favorite video. This is on this guy, Kevin Dalton, on X. I saw this. Here is Gavin Newsom, soon-to-be presidential candidate, who's going to run on his record in California. That's a laugh line. You can laugh. There's someone in the studio to laugh. You can laugh at home. He has been solving homelessness. This big problem solver who wants to solve all our problems as president of the United States. Here he is solving homelessness for like a decade plus. This is great for all the wrong reasons. Check this out.
A 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco. How are you going to solve homelessness? What are you going to do as a new mayor? And I say, well, what are you going to do? Focus on a housing first model, direct access to housing. Shelter solve sleep, housing with wraparound and support services. Solve homelessness. Homelessness absolutely can be solved. Laid out a detailed homeless strategy. There's been no intentionality on homelessness in the state for decades. It's not been a focus. I don't think we can solve homelessness. I know we can solve homelessness. We will reduce street homelessness quickly and humanely through emergency action. The highest investment the state's ever made is $1 billion on homelessness. We are poised to pass a budget in the next few hours that will provide $12 billion of investment. I can literally quantify 58,000 people that we got off the streets last year, and none of you would believe it. The state has not made progress in the last 2 decades as it relates to homelessness. Why? We're not interested in funding failure. We're not interested in failing more efficiently when it comes to the issue of homelessness and the crisis on the street.
Lindy 2022-01 in the chat. OMG, LOL. That's the best summary of that I've ever seen. Hat tip the Kevin Dalton on X for that magnificent video. The dude's been solving, air quotes, homelessness for like 150 years. Hair gel can't figure it out. You know, it's interesting. In the free state of Florida, where we practice free market economic principles, we have homeless people. There's nothing like a homeless problem like they have in California, where they've been solving the problem for seriously like 3 decades now. Folks, this is your guy. Democrats, you got Tallarico in Texas. This is your guy. 6X is Tallarico. Well, obviously there's 6X's. How do you know that? I don't know shit. Gavin Newsom, we are solving homelessness now. You've been solving homelessness since 2008. What happened the last time? I failed. The prior 100 times? Folks, when I talk about this show, right, I always say, hat tip Boogie Down Productions. Some of you get the joke. Edutainment. This show is meant to be educational entertainment, but the education part is important. I learn a lot every day. You guys and ladies have really busy lives. It's always an honor to serve you, whether in the last job or this job. I'm just here to get ideas and points across. You know, I didn't do that video. Kevin Dalton did. It's a great video. But I'm happy to be a vehicle for you to go discover some more of his content. I don't know. I've never met the guy. I love doing this show because I learn something new every day. And I got to tell you, I change a lot of my priors on things and ideas about things based on inputs that change my mind. Trade's one of them I bring up all the time. I was a big, free, fair trader. I was like, almost like a mercenary on trade. Like, we're going to be a free, fair trade, and tariffs are terrible all the time. We should. And then you start to see the impact in the real world of China segregating rare earth minerals. You see us not being able to produce antibiotics, even basic levels of steel. I'm not telling you we need a wall around it or industrial policy, but I like to learn new things. The reason I bring that up, sorry for the long-winded into this article, but I promise Guy I get to it. The Democrats are not interested in learning anything ever. I just don't want you to be under the illusion that you're ever going to coax the socialist into a free market system. I'm not telling you we shouldn't argue with them, because you're never arguing with the Democrat. You're arguing with the third party listening. I say this all the time. The socialist Democrat they want your money, they want your life, and they want your freedom, period. But there's always a third party impressionable person who's listening. So we do have to make the case. Debate is worth it. I bring this up because I saw this Wall Street Journal article about socialism. How when you ask Democrats right now, Democrats, obviously not Republicans, they love socialism. They think it's great. It says, Harvard poll, Democrats supermajority rejects socialist policies. You just said the opposite. No, it's a Freeman article. He talks about in the beginning of the article, if you ask him, you guys like socialism? You get majorities of people, yeah, we love it. But then when you ask him a different question, a different way, do you think America should be run mostly as a free enterprise country or under socialism? Freedom wins by 76 to 24%. Even Democrats vote by a 68 to 32% margin. The ignoramuses in their party, they just run on the headlines. Socialism, free stuff for everyone. They're going to be really hard to coax out of their ideological slumber. However, there are third parties listening that if we do the exercise and go through the debating, we can coax them onto our side. Folks, I want to end with this today, and then we're going to raid Steven Crowder's excellent show. You know Steve Crowder? Steve's a good friend of mine. He is on Rumble here as well. I love my daily Bongino class, RM345 in the chat. We love you too, RM345. I go to class every day. What do I do after the show, guys? Right back in the office. Tomorrow's show gets ready. I love doing. I learn something new every day. Within minutes. They're not kidding. I already sent stuff for tomorrow. Did I not? Here's another update for the Bill Crystals and the other doomers out there, again, that always tell you nothing is happening. And then when things happen, you never get an apology or a walk back or anything. Remember Minnesota, Don Lemon and his crew of losers invading the church? And a bunch of people immediately attacking the administration. Oh, it's going to happen ever. Here's some of the video if you're watching on the screen. Nothing's ever going to happen ever. Nothing ever happened. Nothing happened. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad in your little world and your couch with your Pop-Tarts, nothing's happening here. Maybe you missed the news, but all 39 now of the anti-ICE riders, Nick Sorter tweet, who raided a church in Minnesota have now been tracked down and arrested. Hat tip Harmeet Dillon, who is a top-level official and a great woman in the Department of Justice and a good friend. Is everything happening all the time, every day? No. Are things happening because the wheels of justice are very slow? I read an article this morning about the AutoPen investigation. It's being run through D.C. Jeanine Pirro is dealing with basically jury nullification over there. The grand juries don't want to charge anyone for anything. That's not an excuse. That's a fact. You had that guy on camera throw a freaking sandwich at the cop. And they were like, nah, it didn't happen. There's a lot. It's going to take a long time. I told you to clean this system up. The wheels of justice go really, really slow. I wish they went faster. But stuff is happening, and a lot of stuff, and you're seeing it now. Don't buy into the doomer bullshit, I'm telling you. Them and the liberal media want the same thing. Mutiny, everybody hates each other, but it's all bullshit. Republican Party needs to be unified. We need to defeat Six Sexes Tallarico and others. Ossoff and these other clowns too. All right, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Please, small favor to ask. Rumble.com/Bongino. We added 10,000 more followers. 10,000 more just over the past couple of weeks. Rumble.com/Bongino. Click that follow button. It's free. You'll get a notification every day. The show goes live at 10. Join the chat. We'll cite some of your chats during the show. Some of your posts. Download the Rumble app. Again, it's free. The app is fantastic. I watch on the app on both the iPad and my phone right next to it. I love the Rumble app. Again, it's all free. Please check it out. You can check out Haley Carania's show at noon there as well, and Vince Colonese at 8 a.m. every day. We also have a Bongino Report channel on Rumble. Give us a follow over there too. We really appreciate it, folks. Thanks for supporting the show. You know, man, much love. I'd give you like the heart pound with my arm, but my elbow doesn't work and I can't reach, so we'll just have to like pretend. Love you guys. See you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Hey there, I'm Vince.
I'm Haley Carania,
Host of Vince.
Host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report channel.
Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Noon weekdays. And if you miss it, no worries. The show will always be right here and anywhere you find a podcast. Thanks for watching.